Welcome to my Let's Play of Spelunky. This is episode 11, and I'm Psychedelic Eyeball. So, in this one update, we're gonna play as this fancy Boy Scout that we have going here. This was pretty much my This was my first favorite character because he couldn't pay any attention to his surrounding, but he's got such an innocent look on his face that you cannot help but cheer for him. He always looks so happy. He's got these little eyes that makes him sound like he's almost halfway asleep while he's doing his adventure, and therefore this is a person that we can safely rally behind. When I played this game for the first time, I remember him being one of the first characters that I unlocked, and I will always play as him for a very, very long while. Because we always need positivism in this quiz. More so considering that this is a game where you pretty much die every 2 or 3 feet. In our last adventure, we definitely made some progress because we managed to get the hunk, and more so we managed to get it legitimately by buying it at the shop, which is definitely a feat considering how expensive it is and how it can be somewhat hard to gather the necessary money for the level where you'll need it. But unfortunately, we kinda lost our hunk in a way that I don't really want to speak about. Ugh, I've always liked Yetis. Oh god damn it, I'm so fucking dead. All in all, that was definitely not the most glorious moment in this thread, and it just serves to show you how dangerous Yetis are. Also, I really want to steal that one freeze ray right now, just because, yeah. I just felt like doing so. I really had to vent after the last update in which the shopkeeper didn't really help my cause at the end. After all, we do need to mix things up a little bit. In the last playthrough, we needed to pretty much buy the hunk legitimately, but here we're just gonna rush along and we're gonna be running against the law in order to make it so that we will get the hunk for free. So, we're just gonna pull off an insane plan here. I know that the chest is down here, so we're just gonna drop this bomb here and we're gonna rush along in order to unlock the chest and save the damsel without the boulder destroying everything. Yeah, it was a success, surprisingly. I really would have liked doing away with this one plan because taking any risk like this is not really part of what you'd want to do into this game considering how risky the game already is. But I didn't really have other choices because the quickest path to the idol was pretty much where the idol was, and you can't really move an idol away or bombing the platform on which it's on without enabling the trap. This is one of the changes between the classic and the new version of Spelunky. If you move the idol away from its original spot in some way, this will disable the traps in the classical version of the game. But in this version of the game, at least, this little bug was fixed so that now you can no longer chase any of the idols. And honestly, I kind of prefer it this way because there were plenty of parts where you pretty much will just see how pretty stupid the entire deal will be, and therefore you will just really chase some of the idols. More so the crystal idol, which will spawn a ghost going after you. There was absolutely no reason to even fight off the ghost. And I kinda remember the silver idol that you see in the jungle graveyard level to be much more valuable, but that's kind of beyond the point. Now, there's a tactic that you can use in this game in order to jump higher with the shotgun, but unfortunately I cannot jump that high. Now, if you don't want to bother with the torch in the dark level, you can also use a shotgun in order to light your way, but it's nowhere near as efficient, but at least you're not entirely defenseless whenever it comes to these levels. But the best remedy to that is of course the glasses, and making sure that you light all of the little torches that you see all over the place. The game even goes to the way of encouraging you to light the torches by giving you a very small amount of money every time that you light one. There's always gonna be 3 little gold nuggets which will fall out of torches whenever you finally set them ablaze. So the shopkeeper is right here, and right now I don't think I'm gonna have any other choice but to take him head on, which is something that I really hate doing, considering how fast he can shoot. Or maybe I can snipe him from here? Yes, I can. Now, the good old tactic of trying to get the shopkeeper stuck on the other side is still the best thing to do, but in a dark level like that, it's really hard to do, considering that most of the time you won't even be able to see the other side, so you pretty much just have to lure him to a place where you know he won't have any choice to walk through because there won't be any room for him to jump, and then shoot before he does. Hopefully, if you stay far enough, then you shall have the advantage. That's pretty much the key thing into this game. You pretty much have to be far away from the shopkeeper as much as possible because they usually will not try to shoot at you unless that you're rather close to them, which is like the one advantage that you have compared to them. So in the last update we ended up making a foe out of Kelly, so we're gonna try to make things up by feeding her as much corpses that she can possibly take. We're gonna be her favorite, mark my word. And we're also gonna show another thing that you can do with the golden idol. You can sacrifice it on the altar and you get this little guy right here. And by the way, this doesn't increase your favor toward Kelly, it's more of a side reward. So sacrificing the golden idol will give you the golden monkey. This is pretty much a friend that you carry around for this entire level, and he will just jump around doing his merry adventure, and he will randomly poop gold or gems at you. So if you get him early enough in the level, it can end up giving you more money than you will get by bringing the idol to the exit, but it's always kind of a tricky gamble. Also, it doesn't help that the golden monkey itself is pretty vulnerable and he will die in only one hit, so you gotta babysit it. So we have another new item here, which is the whip gun. This is probably the one item in the game that I like the least. All that it does is shooting a bunch of webs all over the place, and it pretty much acts just like the spider webs that you will see everywhere. The only difference though is that, well, in overall, there's not much of a use for it, and there's no reason that, well, you'd have this one item instead of having, say, the climbing gloves, or a shotgun, or a freeze ray. It's not really a weapon, but it's more a tool that you will use if you end up having no climbing glove. As I'm gonna demonstrate, if you have the web gun, you can end up scaling walls by creating an array of webs that will allow you to climb on top of the wall and repeat the process whenever it's needed, but it's still a rather clumsy way to approach a problem. And once again, it's still much better to have, well, you know, climbing gloves. Now, I'm gonna try demonstrating the shooting glitch again, which allows you to jump higher, but because of the ghost, I'm a little too panicked in order to try to pull it off properly, so we're just gonna leave it be for the time being. And yeah, right now I unfortunately missed the entire gem that I wanted to have converted as a diamond, so who is me? Oh, it seems as if that my golden monkey died, but it doesn't really matter because it's impossible for you to bring the monkey to another level. Once you have a monkey, you gotta milk it for all it's worth before you exit, because otherwise he's pretty much just gonna be left behind. On the flip side, getting this message is always good because it means there's not gonna be a shopkeeper at the end of the level waiting to hound you, but this also means that somewhere there might be a shopkeeper in a store which is waiting for me, guns blazing, and this may make things a little bit more troublesome. More so considering that I also need to keep a look on the marketplace, or the black marketplace. Do your shopping today at the black market. Okay, I think the one guy that we were looking for is right here. I think we should pay him a visit, because at this point we should just rack on some extra money. It's always good for a laugh. More so considering that once you bomb the bottom of the base like that, then it's very easy for you to shoot the shopkeeper and make it so that he won't be a threat anymore. In some way, this is pretty much safe money that we're talking about. But if you try to bomb the entrance to the vault any other way, then things might get a little bit more troublesome and you don't really have any clue if this will work or not. But yeah, the glitch with the shotgun and jumping it pretty much works this way. You just jump and then shoot your shotgun shortly after jumping. This way you will pretty much double your jumping height without needing the spring shoes. And if you do this with the spring shoes, then holy shit, you will fly high in the sky. Now we will get to see one of the quirks of the fire frog. If you kill it, but while it's dying it falls in the water, then it will gain a second life as it becomes a regular frog. And the same will apply if a live red frog will end up diving in the water. This will somehow flush all of its fire away. Honestly, if I took the time to raid every single vault that I see, this could have been a playthrough where I will be eligible to try and get the big money achievement, because $150,000 at this point of the game is pretty damn good in overall, more so considering that I didn't do any ghosting of any sort. But I figure... I think this guy kinda died really fast. This is something that you really gotta be careful about, because if you stick bombs to the face of an enemy and while they're jumping or moving around they end up crushing the bombs inside a wall, then the bomb will explode prematurely without any kind of warning, which is of course very bad news if you're nearby. And you know, it can also be very bad news if there are mines or fire frogs or anything that could blow up in your face in the nearby area. So all in all, you definitely gotta be careful with that. This is one of the somewhat disadvantages to the paste bomb, but then again, it's this kind of stuff that really is beyond your control. At this point, this entire game is more a test of figuring out the kind of stuff that can go out of your control and anticipate it and be able to deal with it. Honestly, there's been a whole lot of deaths in this game where I died just because something absolutely wacky happened and I was not prepared to deal for it at all. This is honestly why I like this game so much in overall. Even after playing this game for so long, this game will still find new ways to surprise you. This is not a game which the same thing will constantly happen over and over again. There's always new different things happening, brand new stories, and brand new stuff that will pretty much make yourself scratch your head and wonder, okay, so what the fuck just happened there? And I really think that a big deal of the credit here goes to the enhanced physics of this version of the game. I tried replaying the classical version of Spelunky and honestly it's a whole lot more static than that, and whenever you will fall someplace you will just pretty much fall down with a complete thumb and you will not move at all, and yeah, usually you won't get into such wacky situations neither. And now it's time for my favorite black market occurrence. Now, try and have a wild guess as to where the black market is. Yup, it's right under the regular exit, like 2 blocks below it. Alright, now it's time to brace ourselves, because things are going to get really rough. Okay, so why did the black market unlock me a new character this time? I'm not too sure, but hey, I'm not gonna complain. So we have another character to add to our Pokédex of Okay, how the fuck am I not dead? I have no clue. So yeah, for some reason, these pretty much replace the slaves? That's kind of weird. So when you take on the black market, the best strategy is to start at the top, because if you start at the bottom, then you never know when the shopkeepers on top will just end up falling on your face. And that's another strategy to deal with the shopkeeper which is down in the Ankh shop. I have sticky bombs, but I'm able to make them fall in the shop by shooting the bombs on the little ledge that you saw on the ladder. And therefore, you can make your sticky bombs fall in the shop and you will be able to take care of the shop a whole lot more faster and easier. Okay, now this can be really tricky when the shopkeeper just decides to stop trying to leave his shop, which is why you just go down here in order to reset his AI. Whenever you're higher than the shopkeeper, he will try to jump toward you, even if you're nowhere near close to him, so that's pretty much how you guide them and guide them around to your advantage. As long as you're on the same level than them, then they become somewhat predictable, and you will have a much easier time dealing with them. So we only have one final shopkeeper to take care of, and we'll finally be done with this horrible event. Honestly, this is the toughest part of doing a run for the secret exit where you try to get to the hunk and without buying it. The black market is probably the biggest challenge that you have to go through, but here we go, we are finally done. This entire place has been pacified, and they will not soil this land with their filth anymore. Rest in peace, black market. Yeah, just slaughtering everyone is pretty much the only way to earn any significant money out of the market area. Now, let's hope that I don't do like in the last playthrough and kill myself in a totally dumb way at the beginning of the level. And things are probably not going to get any easier because the shopkeeper is already angry and I think I lost my item, so... Yeah, why is it that one worm decided to park himself right over bottomless pit? This is not really kind. But hey, it seems as if that both the slave as well as the shopkeeper went missing, so I guess that's a good thing for me. Oh, hey, it's you again, so I have no clue why I got you twice in the same playthrough, but hey, I'm not gonna complain, you might as well be useful at one point. Okay, or maybe you aren't, but then again you don't really have a jetpack, so it's kind of a moot point. I'm just hoping that he's not going to kill himself trying to reach me, because that will be quite a bummer. Now, taking care of the shopkeeper usually isn't a big trouble into the ice caves, but this was the one instance where he was sealed off in a closed area, but yeah, somehow I managed to squish the shopkeeper by making that one ledge fall on him. And, where are you going? Okay, is he still alive? Okay, I somehow managed to exit the level before he fell in the bottomless pit. Okay, as much as I hate the soundtrack of this game for the most part, I really love this song. It's so cheerful, and it's such a departure from the generally rather gloomy music that you hear. I mean, this is the happiest place ever. So, it smells like wet fury in here means that the level is completely different as to what you normally see into the ice caves. In fact, it just looks like a regular cave level or mine level. So we had a new enemy here which is exclusive to this level condition, which is the Yeti King. He's the biggest of all Yetis, he punches you really hard, and finally he has this ability which is to just roar very loudly, which will just make you dizzy, and finally it will also make these ice shards fall on your face. That is definitely not a good thing, but here you can pretty much see the greatest thing with the ice cave levels. And now we have a new item because we sacrificed enough people to Kali, which is the Capella. Basically, this item makes it so that whenever we absorb blood drops, this will allow us to collect the blood, and whenever you earn enough blood, then this will allow you to get an extra life point. So this is one of the 2 ways in order to replenish health into this game. But yeah, the reason why I really like these levels is just because they are so wide open, and whenever you want to sacrifice people like, say, to Kali, then it's always a possibility, and furthermore, the Yetis are worth a lot of favor points to Kali, even if you somehow destroy them before you collect them all the way to the end. In fact, this was why there were a whole lot more of altar rewards in the classic Spelunky compared to this one, because it was far easier to sacrifice live Yetis in this one version of the game because they had more health. They had something like 10 hit points, which was pretty much as a shopkeeper, so it was very easy to sacrifice Yetis while they were still alive. And in fact, even when you're still wearing spike shoes, it was still very easy to sacrifice Yetis while they were still alive because they had enough health in order to survive at least 2 or 3 more stomps than they would into this one version of the game. Instead, all of the enemies pretty much end up having the same amount of health, which makes it far more convenient for you to deal with them, but at the same side, this pretty much disallows you to have a whole lot more favor with Kali, but I guess this makes it a little bit more balanced. Yeah, I could have sacrificed one more Yeti, but I'm not gonna brush up with the ghosts in any way possible. It's not really worth the trouble. So hey, we've got another halter, and guess what? we've sacrificed enough people to earn the last favor that you can get out of Kelly, which is to give you 8 extra hit points. And I figure if you keep sacrificing enough people, you can still earn the 8 point of health reward over and over again, but I've never been able to make it happen in a playthrough. Or maybe this will be the one playthrough where it will happen? I guess we'll see. So, just below the altar, we saw the Moai statue again. I talked about it previously into the last update, and it's time that we finally get to see what it does. And this is where the Ankh comes into play. Essentially, our goal will be to get inside the Moai statue that has the Ankh symbol on it, and this is pretty much your clue that indicates that something must be done with the Ankh about it. So before we do anything about it, we're just gonna clear up the entire level, which means that we're gonna go and keep harvesting corpses over and over again. And by the way, something which I'm not doing in this playthrough, which you should do should you happen to actually want to use the Capella to the full advantage. Whenever you sacrifice anything, just stay close to it so that you get all of the blood that comes out of your corpse, or the corpse of the enemy. Also, I have no clue why the hell I'm even killing the shopkeeper. This just feels gratuitous at this point, because I don't even need to be here, but I guess that I wanted another Yeti corpse in order to give to the goddess of war and destruction. So, now the time has come in order to put our Hank to use. In fact, okay, so why is this ledge not working? But yeah, I figure I'm just gonna get the shotgun, even though you will see pretty soon that it's completely useless. Yeah, this is right here we need to go, but... oh, okay, I guess that was why there was still some music playing. Alright, I don't give a shit about risk, because I gotta die, so it's time for you to have an appointment with bullets. Yeah, even after trying to die, I still end up succeeding, so... yeah, now the time has come to finally kill ourselves. Okay, now there's no more distractions that can happen with us. So we're just gonna scoop up the last bits of gold and we're gonna show how strong we are. Yeah, we have enough health to survive explosions, but the Abyss took care of us really quick. And yeah, that was our reward for killing ourselves in the Moai statue. You get the Edgit, which is one of the items that you need in order to get to the secret ending. And that's the only thing it does, by the way. As much as you had some other item like the Ujat High that have actual uses outside of getting to the secret exit and all of this, here the Edgit is only used for that, so yeah. We're just gonna put a dynamite up onto this mammoth's butt. No wonder that they're going extinct. Jeez, that's kind of horrible. Now, in a regular playthrough where you would try to go for the secret exit, you normally will not go to the mothership, but I have a score to settle with this one place, so we're gonna go back here and we're gonna prevail. Okay, so I guess the shopkeeper is dead, so okay, I guess we're pretty much good to go. In fact, I'm not even sure why I'm bringing my damsel around, but in fact, I think that the damsel ended up saving my life, because if I didn't brought him alongside with me, then the Yeti would probably just have juggled me endlessly by throwing me on the wall over and over again, and I will have died. And yeah, I have no clue why the shopkeeper music is still playing, because there's no shopkeepers in the level anymore. That's kind of creepy. Are you ready to shop for a soul? Okay, that's probably not how it goes, but that's beyond the point, so... okay, I guess that this one UFO got blown up by the shotgun, and then the explosion blew it back upwards. So, the last thing that you need from the tunnel, man... oh boy, okay, this one is gonna be really tricky. In order to build the final shortcut leading to the temple, you need to bring in the gold key that you see in the mines. You know, the one which you're using in order to open the chest that has the Hujat High on it. And the bad thing about that is that you pretty much end up having to waste a complete playthrough doing that. So we're back on the mothership, and additionally, there's also another reason why I wanted to go back here, because there's also another character that you can unlock in there, and yeah, Also, all the way up here are force fields. We cannot really shoot through... okay, and you don't really walk onto the alien queen either, so the best way to approach her will be from the bottom. Or you need to blow up the force field because they will bounce you around, and additionally, whenever you throw stuff at the force field, they will be reflected back in your face. But at least the good news is I finally get to play with the alien blaster again. It killed me the last time, but I swear I'm gonna be far more careful this time. Usually, when you have a jetpack as well than the alien blaster, you're pretty much set in order to not have anything bad happen to you. Okay, or maybe not, because there's still some bad thing which can happen. Because this place is the most hazardous and dangerous place in the world. Okay, but now I think I'm finally okay. So it's time to... okay, I thought that I needed to do milk toast out of the shopkeeper, but we didn't need to, so... oh no! So I guess the shopkeeper was somehow indirectly responsible for my death? Wow, that's a really shitty way to end this playthrough. The most stupid death in the world. So, talking about stupid deaths, let's see what happened into the other lives that our Boy Scout had. Yeah, that was another pretty embarrassing death that I had here. You know how come you usually want to make it so that you trigger arrow traps to be safe? Okay, that didn't really work out this way. So, in this one playthrough, we found out the one shopkeeper that happened to be anti-capitalist, because how the hell do you design your shop to make it so hard to access? And finally, there are some rarer instances where the entrance to a shop will be completely sealed off and impossible of entrance. And finally, to close things up, we have this one tale from the battlefield that reminds you, just because you can nuke an enemy into orbit doesn't mean you should. Yep, by bombing this one spider, I almost died. My damsel got the most classy ride in the world, and finally I destroyed an entire shop and I almost got shot in the face. That's the kind of random things that you will always see. So, coming up next, we're gonna try to bring this little tunnel man the key that he desires.